next to me, making sure that everyone is logging. Here,
Jared, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están?
From Growth Hacking and Outbound Marketing today. I'm super happy to have the super mega Aaron Krall. Thank you very much, man, for being here. Super excited because
my pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much, man. I just want to say, everyone, I will be publishing a few things from Aaron Krall. Where can people find you, first of all?
Well, you can find me at aaronkrall.io, just AARONKRALL.io. I got resources there and free stuff around onboarding and SaaS growth. So check it out.
Why people think that you are amazing, Aaron? What do you do like anyone else in the world can do? And I know what you can do that anyone else in the world can do.
Yeah. So I focus on onboarding for software companies. So everything from a little bit before and a little bit after. So before onboarding, the traffic to trial. So we increase traffic to trial conversions. And then after they get into a trial, we help convert trials into paid users and then help keep users around for the long term, get addicted to your product. So that's what I've been focused on for the past 2 years.
I love it, man. And I know your techniques work. Obviously, we work with Fede, which I think he's a colleague of ours. I heard some of your material, and I've been obviously following you. Aaron also have a Facebook group, which I think it's a must do. I'm going to share the link here. It's a SaaS growth hacking, which is really, I actually got inspired from your group, man. And everyone that is in the group, please go and have a look at and Aaron is very basic on onboarding and on what tools. And one of the things I have on onboardings, what tool do you recommend, if you can recommend any for onboarding?
Oh man.
Sorry, I'm just like going straight to the stuff, you know?
That's great. I'm trying to think how best to approach this. So there are two sides to creating a really, really, really amazing onboarding process, and they both have to do with getting to know your customers more. And so there's qualitative, and then there's the quantitative side of customer exploration. And the quantitative side, what you really want to find out is what are users doing in your product that are helping them convert to a paid user. So usually I call it the value switch. It's kind of the moment where in your customer's head where they see the value for the first time. It's like a switch that goes off in their head. And so the value switch, you want to get users to that value switch. And so first what you need to do is first pick a segment that you want to focus on, identify what that value switch is for that segment. And then once you've identified that value switch, then you have like your whole goal in onboarding is to get them to that value switch, is to get them to see value in the product. And so for the quantitative side, you want something in place that will help you see what users are doing that's helping them convert. Mixpanel is one of my favorite tools for user analytics. You can log in and you can see of the users that converted, what are the common actions they've taken in the app to get them to convert. The other tool that I recommend is called Inner Trends. They're very, very similar.
Sorry, Aaron, which tool was the first one?
Mixpanel.
Oh yeah, Mixpanel is amazing. Yeah.
Mixpanel is great. If you don't have some type of user analytics tool, Google Analytics is great. It'll show you a lot of things, but Mixpanel is kind of designed more for the in-app user analytics to show you what people are doing in the app. Mixpanel, you need to have something like that, or Inner Trends. Inner Trends is a newer tool out there, and I work really closely with them, and I'm in the process of helping them build their tool out. So all of my methodology is being built into that tool, and you can contact Claudio with Inner Trends, tell him I sent you, and he'll hook you up big time. But those are the two tools that I would use for the quantitative side. On the qualitative side, really all you need is for onboarding is Zoom. You need Zoom or Skype, and you want to be able to reach out to your users and find out what is it that they love about your tool and what they don't love, and find out your raving fans, and then go get more of those. And so the tools that you need for that are more frameworks. And we have something called the pain exploration discovery, the deep dive survey. All those things are like used to get information from customers. And then as far as like messaging and all that, like Intercom is great, Gist or ConvertFox, any tool that will allow you to send triggered messages in-app. And you also want to have an in-app messaging tool. Intercom is great. It does pretty much everything that you need. So combined with Mixpanel and Segment and Google Analytics, you can pretty much do whatever you need to with those tools. And then I would say for the other part of in-app onboarding, so a lot of what we're talking about as far as Intercom is kind of external onboarding, except for the in-app messages. What I would suggest is we have, again, there's no tool that exists like this, but I call it Bio, which is built-in onboarding. And it's kind of a framework, a step-by-step framework that gets your users from sign up to value switch in 3 to 4 steps. And unfortunately, there's no tool that allow you to do that. We've built out like, frameworks and templates for that just for a developer and a designer to build it. But with all those together, you'll have like a really good onboarding. That's like a crash course in onboarding.
I think the tools you said to me, obviously, Mixpanel. I think also I'd recommend Heap Analytics, which is great.
Yeah, Heap is great. Yeah.
Inner Trends, I haven't tested, but I'm certainly going to check. I would say Intercom, and I think also Crisp.io, which I think is good. I think Intercom is pricey sometimes, and unless you go to the startup plan, it's at like $2,000 a month, and it's a little bit. It's not overpriced; it's just another price. Crisp is good, but also. How important, from your point of view, is when anyone who comes to the website actually chatting with them, having is the chatting on the web part of the onboarding? And what do you think about it?
Yeah, that's great. So we typically have 2 phases of chat. So the first phase is more customer discovery. Like we're not concerned about converting customers. We're not concerned about like getting them into a plan or being salesy. We're just trying to figure out 1, who's visiting the site, and 2, what are the pains that they have, and what are they hoping the product will solve for them. So that's the first phase. And so questions that we ask are usually, sometimes we'll do chat. A lot of times we'll try chat, and we'll also just try like an open-ended survey through Hotjar. And we'll just ask a question like, hey, welcome to Find That Lead. What brought you here today? Or what are you hoping to accomplish with Find That Lead? Or what is your biggest challenge with finding leads? Try to get that pain from them and have them just, sometimes having a chat is a little bit of a commitment. So having an open-ended survey just allows them to just talk without having the fear of talking to someone. Then once we do that, then the chat really is a source for you to uncover objections. Like that is like the main solution for understanding and figuring out objections is chat. People will, if you have a chat box on there, 90% of the time, people that ask questions, they're going to be related to an objection that they have about the tool. What pricing plan is right for me? Are there any discounts? Like they probably get that chat a lot too. That usually means that they don't see the value in the tool, right? So, so each of those is an objection. The question we use for that is, we want to make it really personal. So I kind of have a different phrase that I use is, hey, this is Gerard with Find That Lead. I'm hanging out on chat today, or I got the chat open right now. Just wondering, just making sure everything is making sense so far. And that's kind of the phrase that we use. You can have a VA do it or whatever. And have people get questions. The whole objection is to get the whole objective of the chat for that purpose is to get objections. And then we have chat like in the app, which is like more support. But on the front end, it's more kind of discovery objection and overcoming objections. So.
I love, and I guess you see a lot of with the companies that you've been working on the funnel between someone becoming an onboarding. If you can tell me how long might be taking an onboarding process. Obviously, it's different on the price value, but on an average, whatever you think it's correct for doing an onboarding. And
you mean how long does it take for a user to get onboarded, or how long should an onboarding?
Both questions, 2 for 1. Yes.
So I'm under the belief that you shouldn't push or pressure someone into upgrading sooner. There's no advantage to reducing the time to first value. in my opinion. You want to make it easier for users to do that, but you don't want to necessarily make it faster. So, in my experience, most of customers that convert pretty quickly within like 24 hours. Like, it's pretty rare, depending on your SaaS too. Like for some companies that I work with, it literally takes like 4 days for the data to get into their product. So they have to wait 4 days, and that's a disadvantage and something they have to overcome. But usually you want to do within the first 24 hours. And so you want to make that onboarding process really smooth. And you want to get them to that moment of first value as quickly as possible. So if you have a 14-day trial, sometimes people ask me, like, what's a good length of a trial period? Well, how long does it take for your user to get to the value switch, to really see the value of the product? How much usage does it take for them to get to the point where they're seeing value in the product? I'm in a product right now, and I'm on day 10 of the trial. I still haven't upgraded yet because I really haven't hit that value switch, but I'm using the tool, and I've uploaded and I've like done stuff in it, and I'm still waiting for that mental moment for it to happen. And it's kind of it's cool. It's cool because when you're in onboarding and you're working in and you're onboarding yourself on the clients or just like products, you get to think, let's see when my value switch is. When am I going to upgrade? So I can actually like document the process that's going on in my own head. And so it really depends. Your goal really is not to push them to get onboarded really quickly. It's to get them to that value switch and make it as easy as possible for them to get there. Because once they get there, they're converted. Either that's 24 hours or 7-10 days.
I think the job of onboarding, we've been checking better and better and find that lead, but obviously we know, and you've probably seen that shit product doesn't need an onboarding. It's just everyone will churn. And does it happen to you that sometimes someone with a shit product comes to you like, Aaron, do me a good onboarding? What happens on this moment? Yeah,
so I have a lot of people that come to me that are pre-launch or that are in, beta launch. And, they come to me with what I think are terrible ideas. I mean, I would have thought Twitter was a terrible idea. If somebody had come to me and said, hey, I want to create a social media. I want to take away everything away from what Facebook has and just have text. I would have thought that was a terrible idea. So I never usually tell people this is a terrible idea. What I do wait for, though, is for them to get traction before I jump in. I'm not like a magician. Like, I can't wave my wand and have people want a product. And if you can be reasonably successful with a product, you can be very successful with a product. And my goal, like all I do is I provide the help and frameworks to get you there faster. It doesn't matter how great my frameworks are or my trainings are. If your product doesn't solve a problem for a group of people, do it where they see the value in the product. So I'll give tips and advice to people who are trying to start up and get advice and get going. But unless they have some kind of traction already, then I usually don't get too involved. So
I love the fact. Aaron, tell me a little bit. Let's say it's a company who wants to work with you. How is the process? Just like they send you an email. They go to the website, which was aaronkrall.io. Let me share with you guys.
Yeah. So.
How is the process? Company comes.
So usually what I do is I have a 15-minute call just to find out if I can help. We figure out where you're at now, where you want to be, and what's holding you back. And if it's one of those things, something I can help with, then we schedule another call, and we just hop on the phone and we create a plan of the 3 things that, according to the problems that you're having and the gaps that you have, I list 3 solutions in the next 90 days that you can implement to get the results that you want. And then after that call, we lay out the plan, and I give it to you, and then we kind of work from there. We'll provide the templates or whatever frameworks you need to get to that point. So that's the first way. And I also have something called the SaaS Startup Implementation Program, or SSIP. and it's for companies that that want a lot of the basic frameworks without having to without getting into a 12-month coaching. So I usually have a 12-month coaching program called the SaaS Accelerator, and the SSIP is a way for you to get a lot of those frameworks to fix parts of your SaaS to get up to the point where you're doing at least 10K MRR. That's my goal for anyone in the SSIP, to 10K MRR, and then after that, getting into the SaaS Accelerator is like moving faster and fixing other problems in your SaaS other than just the onboarding.
This is amazing, and I've been following what Aaron does in his group, which I think, guys, you really need to be on it. And if you are making 10Ks, by the way, Aaron is not paying me anything for promoting him. I think he's just an amazing guy. Just for fact, think that Aaron is doing amazing on his life. He is a wallet designer. And I don't want to show all my details, but this. Can I show it, Aaron? Can I say it to the group?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, man. I discover a secret. Is it like a secret? What is it called? Secret thing that Aaron does. He makes amazing wallets. What's the website called?
Oh, so I do this in my spare time.
Yes, I love that.
I have a workshop out back, and I just like tinker away with leather and stuff. I have a little tiny store. It's called aaleathershop.com.
AA Leather Shop.
Yeah. I don't really like. I get in there a few times a month and knock out some wallets and bags and stuff. But
and this is like, you don't know. I feel so excited when I go. I pay for it, okay? Just to let you know, guys, this is like everyone needs to pay for the stuff. And even like I felt so excited that a friend of mine from Facebook made it for me. And you know what makes me, the most important is that you make me feel part of the development of the product. And I remember I tried to implement some of this on Find That Lead. It's like, Jared, what leather do you want? What this? And it was such a beautiful process because I have everything on Facebook. And I remember I did a post about it. You show me the leather. And this is when we create value. It doesn't matter if we make wallets or it was such a beautiful, and I was waiting for it. And I remember showing to my dad, that's the price. And it wasn't like cheap. It's like, yeah, well, but we make here in Spain. It's like, yeah, but this is made by a friend. Look, it's his brand and his name. and you know, I'm so like super happy, obviously, to have your wallet and that you design. But taking it to our brand is like, how can we make our customers feel like super excited to be like, pay for the customer, pay for a wallet, pay more expensive than any wallet like you can find anywhere, like in a way, and be super happy and proud. This is so important, and this like when it's something more than like friendship, community, and I think that like an onboarding. You did an amazing onboarding on there, like, and you probably didn't know. And anyone in the company, I like to recommend you, and you know, you're doing it just out of curiosity. Second curiosity, that's why I think one of the things Aaron is here is because we met on the SaaS talk. And do you remember for first time?
Yeah, Dublin. Yeah.
Yeah, and SaaS talk for anyone, and this is to promote Alex as well. SaaS talk was just amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible.
How was it for you? If you want to tell me a little bit?
Oh man, SaaS talk was great. You know, I've been to SaaSter 2 or 3 times already. I didn't go this year just because it just was too many people. SaaS talk I felt was a good amount of people. I felt like the staff and everyone involved was just like the experience was just so much better. The energy, it's hard to explain. I'm not really like a woo-woo type kind of guy. Like, you know, I'm pretty down to earth, but there was an energy there at SaaS Talk that was really different than SaaSter, and it was everybody really genuinely cared about you. And back to what you said, like the experience of getting somewhere is oftentimes much more important than actually getting there. Like I can get to Hawaii on a freighter. You know, like it'll take me like 3 weeks and I'll be locked in a box in some shipping container, but like I can get to Hawaii. And so if you create a really good experience, then you can have your customers will just be overjoyed. It's Lincoln Murphy calls this the appropriate experience. Like, what is the appropriate experience for your customers? And like you said, Gerard, with this wallet, like I wanted to make it a really personal, involved experience. People don't usually have that experience of like being able to pick what they want and the colors and watch it be made. Like, it's a very personal experience. And that's why I felt that SaaS Doc was really like, they took a lot of time to make it really personal. It was great. Yeah.
I love, and sometimes we I don't know if it's happened to you, Aaron, that sometimes, and this is, I'm opening, like, I find that sometimes we forget there's people behind, and we forget, we are like, let's quantities, MRRs, growth, numbers, mixed panel. Mixed panel shows like numbers, man. It doesn't show faces and names and surnames, you know?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, how can we, and you on Fede, I've seen how Fede does the interviews, and they take 1 hour and they listen. Tell me a little bit, how do you take approach which is completely different, more like when
that is such a big reason why I advocate for qualitative interviews. Like, as a founder and as a CMO, I mean, my belief is that you should be an expert in your customer. You shouldn't be an expert at SaaS. You don't need to be an expert in programming. You can find programmers out there. You can find really, really good designers. But if you're an expert in your customer and you know them better than anyone else, you're going to have an advantage over everyone else in your industry. I believe that if you want to double your revenue, double what you know about your customer. Double what you know about your ideal customer. And that involves actually getting on the phone and talking to them. You know, I've heard of some companies actually going to the office of their clients and watching them. Just watch what they do, how they interact, how they use the tool, what frustrations they have. Like, if you can do that, I think you should do it. I mean, there's nothing else out there that will give you that kind of insight than actually watching your customer use the product, and then also understanding what drives your customer, what pains drive your customer. And surveys and all that, like, those are great to give you like a base. But I mean, I'm really impressed with Sujan Patel with Mailshake. He has a point to have interviews with his customers every week. He has another interview with his customer. I'm sure his team sets those up. He just gets on the phone and talks to them. But man, you should be talking to your customers all the time. And the more that you do that, the more comfortable you'll get. The more people will start to, well, first of all, they'll start to get to know you more, and you'll get to know them. It's really incredible when you start to step aside from your product, because we get these blinders on in our product. We're so engulfed in everything that we don't see what's happening outside. Getting out and talking to your customers is one of the best ways to get outside yourself and your product and see how other people are using it.
I think it's an amazing recommendation. Even myself, you know, I try to do webinars and Facebook Lives, and anyone can ask me anything on Facebook and LinkedIn. But after all, the most important is like getting into the phone and just pick up one customer, an amazing customer, and say, "Hi guys, let's talk. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about it, and let's see what comes up." And sometimes it comes like, "Well, Gerard, I need this and that." It's like, "Wow, man, well, you haven't told me that before." And you know, with anyone from the sales teams, like, guys, please, whenever you make a sales call, let's not say it's sales call. Let's like prospecting call. Let's see what's happening. Do not push anything on them. Yeah. Now we change pricing. It's like, it's a no-brainer. Let's talk. Let's see what comes up. Obviously, you have packages which they're higher range, but I think talking and knowing them, but isn't it sometimes like too much time consuming
to talk to people?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, just
from a SaaS point of view, when, you know, my lifetime, my average sale is like what, $64 to $90.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
What do you think? It's like talking to users and customers. I'm just thinking people listening in the group, and it's like, okay, yes, I cannot talk to my customer. Tell me some If you want to, what's the minimum price we should be spending time with people? How many people? Just an average.
Yeah. So here's what I think about that. I don't care what your price point is. It could be $1 a year. You still need to have conversations with your customers. That doesn't mean that you need to have one-on-one demos with every customer. That's not what I'm saying. There is no substitute for having quality conversations with people, no matter what you charge. If you're charging $99 a month or $99 a year, if you want to get more sales, you have to understand your customer. And spending 1 or 2 hours a week or 1 hour a week just on 2 30-minute calls, the insights that you get from those calls could easily double your revenue or more. And that doesn't mean you have to get on a call with every single person, but what you learn from those calls, you can automate and put into systems. If you find out that a customer is really having trouble with a specific feature and they're like, I couldn't figure this out, and I tried to, and I couldn't do anything, and you go and fix it, and you see conversions increase because 100 other customers don't have that problem anymore. That was worth it, dude. Even if your customer is only worth $99 a year, $100 a month. And I think everybody, no matter what the price of your SaaS is, you should have at least like 50 demos for when you're first starting out. Have 50 demos, because first of all, if you can't sell it on a demo, you can't sell it. There's no way you're going to be able to sell your products in an automated way. And second of all, throughout those demos, you're really going to start to see what your clients want and don't want. And you're going to see when their eyes light up, and that moment where that switch goes on and their eyes light up. That's one of those aha moments. And sometimes you can only get those through having customer conversations. And so it really depends, like, how much money do you want to make? Do you want to double your revenue? Then talk to more customers. If you don't, then it's okay to like stay behind the curtain and not talk to customers, but you'll probably struggle a lot.
Well, when you said 50 demos, I guess it's 50 demos a week?
No, just 50 demos when you're first starting.
Okay, yes, certainly.
Doesn't matter like what your price point is. Do those demos and then automate it once you figured that out.
Yeah, I think I was like 50 demos a week. Fuck, I don't do 50 a week.
Well, that's crazy.
Oh, Jared, let's get it, man. We do. Sometimes we get comfortable here in the company. It's like I'm doing like 4 or 5 calls a week when I know like real. But 50 demos, and what I recommend to anyone is like, guys, 4 to 5 calls related, obviously demos and related to customers. But just talk to them. Just talk. Let's welcome them. Do you recommend any CRM? Do you put in a CRM, onboarding? You just do a page for every customer? Or do you use anything to keep all that information?
Well, I'm a little bit, I don't know if you call it old school.
I am very old school, man.
But I have I don't know if you can see this. I have I have an iPad.
Okay, that's not old school, man. That's old school. Yours is old school. Mine is old new school, because I just write, like I have a framework here for calls and stuff. And so I just go to the call and I just take notes. That's one thing that I do. The other thing, how do you keep them? How do you keep track of it later? Can you just go in?
What do you mean?
How do you keep track? If you want to go back to that specific day, do you write to?
Yeah. I mean, I upload them into Slack, and I have my team either transcribe them or put them in the customer's file. Really, the best way to do it though is when you're having those interviews, is to just record it and then go to Temi or Rev and have them transcribe it, and then go back through, print them all out, go through and just highlight keywords.
Really?
Just go old school, highlight stuff, write notes, and these phrases are gonna pop out at you. I remember one time it was summer here in Utah, and I went to a park. I had like 30 pages printed out from an interview, and I just went through and highlighted a bunch of stuff, made notes and highlighted, sat at the park on a bench under a tree, and just like just made notes and highlighted. And I found a lot of really cool stuff from doing that. It's good to just separate yourself from the screen for a little bit too. Get away from like the distractions and focus on the customer and what they're saying, and use their actual words in your marketing. And you'd be surprised what you find when you do stuff like that.
I love it. I love it. This, and anyone, I also recommend, for me, it's been working very well. I try not to work on Fridays. I end up working some days, but guys, try not one day a week, just fuck it up. Like, it could be like you ruin your business, but anyway, that's not up to me. But I try to do out to like Monday's not working or Friday not working, something that it makes me feel crazy, it makes me feel here in the company, but the energy pops out. We just did an email, got like 1,200 responses. Magic things happen to people who does things different. And obviously, Aaron, you've been doing things differently. You have an amazing crowd of like 12,000 people on Facebook, amazingly very active, and engagement that you have is the best. Anyone, it's just like anyone who wants onboarding, it's you. And I think it's just like you are one of those guides on onboarding on the market, and obviously anyone who wants to contact Aaron, just like to wrap up, tell me one life hack and one personal hack.
Oh man. Oh boy, life hack. So I discovered something called Fancy Hands.
Okay, told me that. Tell me that.
Before you get any ideas in your head, Gerard, let me tell you what Fancy Hands is. It's just a service that you buy. It's like $30 a month, and then you get like, I don't know, an hour a month of just not local, but like US-based VAs. And so I'll just have them, I have them schedule doctor's appointments for me. I have them rearrange calendar stuff. I have them call customer service for me and stay on the phone. They'll do all of that for you, and I don't have to do it. So it's really amazing. I just say, hey, schedule a massage for me on this day at this place. Do it.
What is it? What is it, the service called?
It's called Fancy Hands.
Again, sorry?
Fancy Hands.
Fancy Hands, a system for everyone. Love it. And
really cool. They're English-speaking, native in the U.S. I'm not sure if the service works outside the U.S., but it works great in the U.S. I can text them. If you don't have like an assistant, if you're still doing everything by yourself, Fancy Hands is a really good way to like learn how to delegate and start delegating stuff that you shouldn't be doing, like calling customer service, stuff like that. So that's like one personal hack. The other hack that I do, man, I love hacks. I love talking about that kind of stuff. The other thing that I do is I started doing this recently is I book out stuff for the entire year. And so usually the way that I've used to work is that I would just go week to week, and every week would just be different, and I wouldn't know what I was doing. But I schedule 2 5-hour slots a week, and I call it my focus time, and I block it out of my calendar. And I do it every week. I do 2 5-hour blocks, and I schedule that for the year. I don't get any meetings, and during that time is when I, it's like scheduling a whole day. It's like you taking Friday off. I just break it up into 2 different days. So I have 10 hours a week where I just focus on the business, and I sit down and I brainstorm stuff, and I think about ideas. I delegate. I create new frameworks. I assign my team things, and I can usually fit in like a week's worth of work within 2 5-hour sessions. So I call that my focus time, and I schedule it 2 times a week, every week for the whole year. So that's one of the things that I'm doing lately.
Can you keep out of it? Like, can you do it?
Sometimes I have to move it depending on like what's happening, but I'm getting pretty good at like shutting down, going to a coffee shop, and just like focusing on my business. Like, what can I do to grow the business, and how can I make my current customers happier? How can I get them better results? Because if you don't do that, everybody talks about getting customers. No one really talks about keeping customers around.
Keeping, that doesn't sound so exciting. I think the guy from Profitwell actually, what's his name?
Patrick Campbell.
Yeah, I think Patrick Campbell talks a lot about it, acquisition. What about retention, man?
Yeah, what about retention? Where's your attention?
Retention. Once they come to your website, just keep them there, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
unfortunately, people miss out on that. But you know what? During those 10 hours is when you can actually focus on that kind of stuff. So
I love it. What can I do if I want to learn about retention? Tell me, where can people find you, man? Where can people find you?
So in my accelerator, we have 3 months that are dedicated to just retention throughout the year. Every couple of months, we have a new theme, and retention is I focus on 3 things: acquire, convert, and retain. So acquiring customers, converting them, and then retaining them. And so I'm going to be putting together the frameworks. They're actually not developed yet. A lot of it's in my head. So I'm just looking for people to who are interested in being some guinea pigs with me and helping me build out those frameworks. Because once they're built out, I'm going to have everything in place to show people how to retain more customers and create that really amazing experience that you talked about earlier. So.
I love it, guys. If anyone listening making between like 3 or 1K to 10K a month, and you are SaaS, one thing is go to Aaron Krall Facebook group, which is SaaS Growth Hack, and also aaronkrall.io. Register there and make sure you learn a lot from Aaron, because he's just an amazing person, amazing
and
guy.
hit me on Facebook. Just let me know what you're working on and what you got going on too. I love to hear from people. So.
Yeah, and we are friends for a while with Aaron, and the amount of information that you give away and the tips is just amazing, which I'm obviously very thankful, because we have implemented a lot of things here in Find the Lead.
Yeah,
good. Thank you very much.
That's awesome.
Don't hang up. And anyone, thank you very much for listening. Remember, Find the Lead helps you to send emails with love, and please check out Aaron Krall. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Don't hang up, please. And we're finishing now.